What's good, everyone? Welcome back for another session. Now, I did finish the grind for the new free-to-play INT LR Tien the other day, and I have been kind of testing around different team building and just testing the unit overall. And the first thing I wanted to check out was basically building an entire team off of free-to-play units, but also all the LR units that fall under the Earthlings category. So this is pretty much the team setup that I kind of went in to Super Battle Road Stage 45, which is the Earthlings category. And with that being said, obviously team building is relative to each player. So, you know, my team specifically might not be the best. Like, you can incorporate other units like the LR Uba that recently got an easy A on the JP side as well. I'm still working through that unit, so I didn't necessarily want to include that guy, but with all that being said, let me just briefly talk about the new Tien unit, because I haven't really covered it on this channel. So, leader skill is a Saiyan Saga category lead of key plus 3 HP attack and defense of 130%. For this guy, the 12 key super attack will cause colossal damage to enemy and lowers attack. For the 18 key super attack, which is the ultra super attack, it'll greatly raise attack for 1 turn and causes mega colossal damage to enemy while sacrificing 5% HP. And I guess the sacrifice of 5% HP kind of makes sense for this unit, because depending on the HP levels, this guy's performance will kind of alter and change. In terms of the passive skill, you've got key plus 3 for 10 turns from the start of the turn, plus an additional key plus 3 for 10 turns from the start of the turn when there's an extreme type enemy one time only. Attack and defense will increase by 103,000, plus an additional attack and defense increase of 10,300 with each attack performed, up to 103,000 as well. Launches an additional super attack when HP is 80% or more. Launches an additional attack when HP is 50% or more. Medium chance of performing a critical hit when performing an ultra super attack, or great chance of performing a critical hit when HP is 50% or less when performing an ultra super attack, plus an additional key plus 10 when HP is 30% or less. This guy does have an active skill, and I think in my run here I accidentally forgot about it, but in terms of the active skill itself, it'll cause ultimate damage to enemy and key plus 10, and then defense will increase by 30% for 1 turn. The condition for that, it can be activated when HP is 50% or less, starting from the 4th turn from the start of battle, 1 time only. So I don't know, maybe because I didn't go all the way through 4 total turns in this particular run, maybe it's why, because I wasn't able to activate it basically. Now, in terms of link sets, I'm still working through the level linking, but link levels, I should say, but from a level 10 perspective, you've got Z Fighters, which is attack increase of 20%. Crane Skull will be attack increase of 20%, which is a little bit hard to come by. That's kind of why I included the free-to-play LR Mercenary Towel in this case, because they do share that link. I do want to also note I did include the AGL LR Tien and Chouts as well, because of the link setups with this guy. Solid support will be attack increase of 15%, all enemies defense minus 20%, telepathy will be key plus 2 and chance of performing a critical hit increased by 5%, shocking speed will be key plus 2, defense increase of 5%, shattering the limit will also be key plus 2, attack and defense increase of 5%, and of course we've got legendary power, which is attack increase of 15% when performing a super attack. Categories a little bit limited with this guy: Worthy Rivals, Final Trump Card, Earthlings, Bond of Friendship, and the Saiyan Saga. So I guess, like, in terms of the overall team building outside of Earthlings and Saiyan Saga, Bond of Friendship might be a good one to build a team around. Now, in terms of the 100% potential, you've got HP levels at 25,835, attack is 19,018, defense is 12,060. The 12 key multiplier is 140%, and then the 24 key multiplier is 200%. Now, I did want to briefly talk about the main linking partner, which, for obvious reasons, it will be the AGL version of Tien and Chaozu. The problem with this guy, and I kind of went into the Super Battle Road run a little bit conservative and cautious, because these guys are included in the rotation. They really need that easy A, because right now, the silver lining to this guy included in the team is the ability to stun the enemy, and you'll see this kind of throughout the run, especially with the 18 key super attack, which gives you a chance to stun the enemy, which surprisingly helps out more than often. But from a passive skill standpoint, the attack increase of 10,000 when key is 8 or more, and then defense increase of 10,000 when key is 11 or more, plus an additional attack and defense increase of 10,000 when key is 14 or more. That's really not sufficient enough for Dokkan Battle nowadays, especially on like Super Battle Road settings. So with all that being said, I did have to mitigate some of the damage applications on that unit by bringing in or utilizing more items than preferred, right? Because even though the new Tien and the other unit as a floater might be able to take some of the damage, the AGL version of Tien and Chaozu, unless they get that easy A with some massive improvements, they're going to struggle a little bit. So without items, obviously, and that's the other takeaway with the Super Battle Road run showcases, right? Is because there are always going to be instances where a couple of normal attacks and a super attack could annihilate your run, right? So it's always a fine line of minimizing item usage, but also making sure you're able to successfully go through the run. So it's kind of a little bit of a balancing act in a way. But I did try at least on this couple of runs, I did try to kind of lower the amount of reliance on items as much as possible. So I probably went through this Super Battle Road stage with this kind of team setup and maybe a couple of different variations of units included. I probably did this on average like 15 to 20 runs just to kind of test out the different ways to go about it in terms of when and where to use the items, just to be able to provide a little bit better overall run, right? I kind of did this run this morning shortly after I woke up and had a couple of cups of coffee, so I might not be at the sharpest state of mind when I ran this, but I think it's overall good enough to be able to showcase and utilize for a video. So moving on to the last battle. So again, like AGL, Tien, and Chaozu, the LRs, right, free-to-play LRs, they are a little bit lackluster in terms of the overall performance they provide, and hence why I needed some additional items to be used. But I will say they did provide quite a few benefits on a couple of turns where they did stun the enemy, and they kind of mitigated a lot of damage through that way. So you can certainly beat this by including them. It's probably easier with more of a Earthling setup with the better units, so to speak. But I kind of had to include this, right, because I wanted to link these guys up with the new Tien. Otherwise, you're not going to be activating as many links as you'd like, especially from a showcase perspective. So that's kind of why I did it. And surprisingly, you are able to beat this run, I wouldn't say easily, but fairly easily, given you bring a certain set of items to kind of mitigate potential damage on that particular unit. But overall, it's fun. I did include the Hercule unit for the chances of, I think, evading, and if I remember correctly, there was a possibility of stunning the enemy too there from the super attack standpoint. Correct me if I'm wrong there, but I did bring units like that. Some of the units have the ability to lower attack, which obviously helps. Over the course of 2 to 3 turns per battle, it might help out in some regard. The revive mechanic, obviously, with the LR Roshi unit from the 7th anniversary is quite a big help. If you run out of items or you happen to not use items but you're under HP of 50%, you're able to activate it. So it does kind of serve its purpose in that regard. The LR free-to-play Krillin unit is obviously an AoE type attacking unit with the 12 key, and then obviously the 18 key is a little bit different, but he's able to raise his attack levels with the super attack, so it kind of helps with that. Mercenary Tao, I actually do enjoy using the unit. A little bit of a lackluster unit at 100% potential level 10 links in some ways, but depending on how you build the team can be a little bit better. But I did see upwards of like 3 million plus in attack stats in some cases, so I think for a free-to-play LR that's more than good enough, especially given that it's a World Tournament LR unit as well. So overall, initially going into it, I wasn't sure how feasible or how efficient this team would be, but to be honest, surprisingly, this team did work out pretty well. I mean, obviously you have to bring in items to kind of mitigate some of the potential damage here, but going through it a couple times, I was actually surprised how smooth this team ran in some cases. Now, you're not guaranteed to get the 18Q super attacks all the time because of the variety of units included on this team, but I think from an overall synergy standpoint, it works well enough to where you should be able to kind of clear the runs fairly easily, depending on how you kind of look at it, right? So I think in closing, the first rotation, obviously you want the LR Roshi and LR Krillin to be together, just because, you know, they're better than some of the other units here. And then the offsetting rotation where the main showcase is taking place, I did want to link up the two LR Tien units together just to see how well it would work. So that is my particular run. You know, the metal grind itself, I did full auto, just kind of, you know, worked, you know, during the day and just let the auto mode kind of run itself. So definitely did have a benefit in that regard with the Prime Battle LR Metal grind. You know, it made it a hell of a lot easier, so I definitely do recommend that. But with all that being said, hopefully you enjoyed this LR Earthlings free-to-play team. And as always, thanks for watching, and I will catch you guys later. All right. Peace out.